Springwatch Group is a reputable recruitment firm out there in Teshinwa, number 3 Cinnamon Avenue. Springwatch Group says you need 500 factory hands for placement on the Spintex Road. Salary from 500 CDs to 1,000 CDs. And so if you're interested, Springwatch Group somewhere here between 500 factory hands. Aketiania between 500 and 1,000 CDs per month on the Spintex Road into the Spintex East Lagos. Anase Sakumono Teshinunwa Greda Estates. Friend numbers way 055 855 1977. Ebium 055 855 1977. And also says 055 850 8099. 055 850 8099.
Good to meet Taki.
Yensi Jum Anope, Bernard Aloteje Cops, social commentator. Run, man, run. Hey, Kwame, to be challenging me so. Only Aloteja. Certain comment found.
No, cowboy be about. Yeah,
I don't want any surprises. Indeed, my journey seats me that all.
Maybe a non surprise here. You never know.
A man who's here we are. Microphone say Abosso. Abosso. Kwame is other version of Serena. Yes, no.
I'm Patrick Serena.
That's all.
The ebullient. The irrepressible.
What's a Chuck Norris?
Yeah.
The venerable Kwame Nadanka. Our positivity.
We do.
Machi Akwaba.
Yeah, uncle.
Anape, Bokwazi.
I'm not doing your son.
Igwefu.
Yamrado in Boyes if son home. Emma Tejamaso Dabojum.
Amen.
Amen. That's right.
Now, next weekend, yeah, them.
I'm missing coming show now.
Yeah, Jodo.
Other room. A chief monarch
yeah, them.
A child of Madame Dasio. Now, Kwame, you are. Okay, so bois. Obia, the no bobo, who be no Kotakroba and Castro da.
I
mean, already your declaration to be with me Friday is ready. It's doing magic. It's doing wonders. Kwame say for chairman general rebe way. It's my sir. Me try on Kokrokoo. It's Kwame. But the move about them, I'm Kotakroba don't Castro da.
Amen.
Osi fomo osa Ghana mundi.
It's outside. It's Kwame. Yamna ya kanda ma the pion we hear me ni fida memenda na kwesida na aya ma biwa ofro ne tam tintimin ya yin kama na bofo na manhihye ho bia so ya ye da hate ne chi fefe na wada rom Kwame da no ma kan mbo na chi wa doso kra be ma mekwa akohwe be ma na da katia I went to offend a Prince Opoku, a Prince Casket, Takradi.
Yeah.
Us may free be more die. Is it say you my one saka come myself Kokrokoo fi wa asmato. So Kwame, this is
yes.
Primus inter Paris. This program every corner. Oto bi o ma mo kwa say oh Kwame dan kan Kwame na kasa ye fi da yimpa kase tintin bi o. Program ya mama be.
I get John the Sakura pen or wo.
Program ya mama be na bia Kwame di free.
Oh yeah.
The program is yenji da. And the prince, the bar sesro, very receptive. Na a book ramp out of the man cram Kwame. On where Angasa, my can, a chi way free the bar, they free the border hasn't see. Also the cramp with the mum.
Oh, Prince Casket,
that's right. Now, a employer brochures and accounts of all. Ya so de ventures. Oh no, share. Kokwan say for. Maybe no, yeah. Friend Francis Kingsley Youngson, amazing person. Kwame, no so my kind, so rebate. Chairman General, but way is on way you on the phone. Is it? Ha, Massa, the Mabo could be a mission.
Positivity.
Wow.
You find a name that works magic.
Chairman General is on your name. It's the name.
The name.
And name is not a bit so. Oh, yeah, the name that works magic.
Yes.
No, me charge wow brother Thomas Amia or your production manager.
Okay.
Ghana Water. Be mamete Kwame Nsu obenda be the bosumoko ansan waba resolve na one chairman general is coming to your funeral.
Yeah,
chairman general must not come and experience water shortages. Opo awo nza onezi. Ejo Kwame se baka bokumate. Eti
menyonam.
Oh, brother. Eti bibia wadarum odekwema yehwema yankopon na adarum wabo hen ban busine sen bia no ntua abon sam ni hihye bia ye paguna na pempem
amen
na mbi ni boduma yebo ye totin bibia akojojojo enti se bi se ya na manze
yo ye mai bushe funyina ya ko
mazu Muhammad promise
yeah brother I say odi
prako
ka seku bi ba ma onu se where you chill the club
that's right.
That's right. I don't think that's it. A lot.
I will mobile being we as a bay mom. No opposition, no. Now we yet is no be our
opposition.
A friend in need is a friend in need. Oh
yeah.
Oh, then yes, we are your man.
Oh yeah.
No, mommy, here, mommy.
Amen. Nyame fani krensie. Amen. Nyame fani krensie. Na yema oyako yema sheds in our webusia funyina. It happens to the strongest of us. Nyame obey. Kwama
one chairman general.
Minimpa se ubunya beko parliament inti yenkomra.
Go. Let's ask you go Kroba.
Also be surprise you.
No job of surprise is
the element of surprise, Kakra.
Okay, you're from the form and nature, you're from
at all costs, there must be a surprise.
Go to your throne.
Now, H&N is not surprising you.
Oh, it's at the time no change, Kakra.
How is the surprise? Because nobody is surprised.
Kara.
Chairman General.
Me say, Yankombra.
The Parliament, or your Parliament.
Me say, Obakas Open Parliament, in Yanko Parliament.
And pay my mincha your tea for now.
Yeah, Joso.
Mincha say in free say, and free baby. If you see bra, you woman no a bra, you want me here, Mupa. The world over. Nanra, I Sabbath school. Ne atifi sema de digina so esuaye na wo Hebrew ngoma no Hebrew for ngoma eti dumienu
kumu chacha also ye Hebrews nti o kan kumu chacha nezin amamfo pia basa Hebrews o me go Hebrews
Chairman General
Paramount.
There's a shaking going on in the world now. If we are seeing a woman shaking no cause no, it will lead to the removal of some people, and some will remain. Now, say ube removed o, ube remain you. One kasano, I was said you be see afa nyame afa. Ghana, you see ye a Christopher, you see ye Kramofo, ye Jinyankopon di. Bible, any Quran, ye the Duma nyame asem, Chairman General. 2010 Population and Housing Census Report. 88.8%. Aye, wo Ghana ha. 71.2 Christians, 17.6 Muslims. Say ye kase ye de ye religious scripts no ye juma. Adia ye friend no kredie nyamisro nyado per your attention ne enkanya dia ehwo be chire wo ho wo man mu da. I'm making the point say yen kanokre nyatwom nkontompo nada ene ye de timamu ha. We live deceptive lives. E kan obi na ye what recurrent problems. Na nyasa nkanse be one more AC. Come, I have done this to show a reason, to give as a background to establish Asama Mibabeka, headed by the Right Honorable Speaker Abansumana Bagwen, Kingsford. Yete Ghana Hanuma, Kwamna Danka won in Susuye, Uncle Lute won in Susuye, me Kwabrabon from me in Susuye. Ah, ye different a young coupon or buy, Yami bo nipa, adio di maye. A choice, and the essence of choice, Kwame, is politics. Na nam say wo de e wo ho na me so me de wo ho na obi ade wo ho nti na ya yiye nhyehyeye se yen adwenkyere no ekọ na anko benkromu a amamra wei oni yentem adanse na ontwe megina faako. So the constitution remains our standard bearer. Yenyinara, and nobody is above this constitution. Come, who can your constitution now? Preamble now. Ordana di pefe. Say, we, the people of Ghana. Now, Article 1, no, the sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the limits laid in this constitution. And the Yasaya Kawo Article 2, Clause 2. In fact, Clause 1 now say, so be anti bibiase ewo yamamra we mu anakwa enfa so didi djuma on Franco Supreme Court. Sadian automatically makes the Supreme Court the final authority ewo adwenkyeremu anase nsusuyemu efa maintain ho asibia. Uyi Supreme Court to free one more. Yes. It's the finality. Now Chairman General, and I'm so on my way yet mrani adi adwumanti no. I have every right to say this constitution is a finality. And if the Supreme Court makes pronouncements on this finality, then the Supreme Court remains the final arbiter. Obieni hobium, Supreme Court kasa obieni hobium. Enti na yenti e ho ase. E fa niam bi ho e wo Parliament. Chairman General meboa.
Okay.
And obi a time assembly they call Supreme Court. Right Honorable Sumana Kingsford Alban Bagwe on the 15th of February. Who can say? Mentimi wasi e ko ofie ho no o deputy o first deputy speaker or chair adwe o bibi ho wo so aka wadwene nti ase anya adwumanti no eye ode say ye de akọ Supreme Court na ye nyina ye ntwan ma Supreme Court ma ya kwankere kwame direction. Yeah. This is what he said. Oh, we will get direction from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court makes a pronouncement and kaso kan ni na bibia kwame an come soon say Parliament the Supreme Court is an incursion into the remit of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I beg to differ. You are wrong. Now you are asking the applicant to go back for a review. Me person me busa right honorable Speaker back when say review no say Supreme Court will be mawia. And no, will it be an incursion into the remit of Parliament or it will be an incursion into the remit of the executive? Review now say Justice Abulai Onkono. I want to ask Bagwe, Speaker, right honorable Speaker, say your court judicial review no na I 70 says I kwakoye ebia 92 when the full bench sits. And I say kwakoye 90 and I got 10.
And which is the full bench?
I want to believe say your friend say 2 no e kan ho
about 9.
Constitution says that the Supreme Court needs a minimum of 5, panel of 5 to begin with.
Yes, that's the minimum threshold. Yeah, and that but this in this matter no, there were 7 judges.
It doesn't talk about full bench.
No. I'm saying I'm not talking about a maximum. I'm saying what I'm saying is
there are more than 11 there.
Yeah, but say Supreme Court minimum number no. But whatever it is no, say 7 netina asem no so 7 no motina asem no so no. Ye di be kan ho a say number no still a odd number.
Yeah, so
said
so
plus 2. On be it make us 9 at least. Nti say 9 ena abeka ho na say anase be kokoye 11 a. De be ye bia no challenge na. Wo mo di wo mo ano December betuda. Na enya numbers no kwa na mehwe. Me busa bagben say or say decision na Supreme Court aye no. Absurdity. He has a right to do that. He can describe it as such. Yeah, you can call it whatever. But or say incursion into the remit of Parliament. I mean, besides say review application now say Justice Abulai in Franco Amati say Justice Abulai they come back no. Eba, will it constitute what? Again, I know by if the first decision no incursion into the remit of Parliament. I want kasa advice say ye nyina ye man asem papa because Supreme Court be my direction. Ntia ye dan na wo kasa ye sign call for a review when your view is that the decision of the Supreme Court is an incursion into the remit of Parliament. Tamanjena, and I want to make this point. Mpani kan sem bi say wo nyansa dodo a sebi Ujimi.
See anything.
Oma, when it to do Kwame. Oye nema bima, ye bisa say. Anitia na woka baby na wo he. Woni ndi akoso yina ni nyina so ne pompon so.
David.
Nipa bebre enyen free election 2020. Ye bobo ya Mami Jean Adukwe Mensa e ka say President Akufo-Addo wedding kunim no nipa bebre enyan sore na wo da inu ye wo nipa bebre and I won't be surprised say Speaker Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagben o ka san krofo no bi
ade na obeka say
Kwame woni say ye to aba no wie o mo ka say before ye to aba no wie ya Mami Jean Mensa nyambe declare results so kra no ekua Kingsford Bagben ene ne nkrofo ne gang omu free mu no
Mpacho, you don't use gang
withdrawn
yeah
ne omu ene ne ya adwene no omu ewo mu no omu ka so omu adi nkunim o
na mo chacho susu
no name calling please
omu ekuo no omu so omu adi nkunim na dan electoral commission be declare results na ma wo mo and electoral commission be declare ya ankwa ma wo mo chama je no omu ka say omu adansia say aba no ya wiem enti na ankwa ma wo na omu de ko Supreme Court say the article 64 eka ye nyina ye hu ye wiase nyina hweye omu ko Supreme Court sebi omu asem a omu anko hunu kan Potokasamu, the poor conduct of their case in court. I noticed Supreme Court a ball almost a Chairman General. Supreme Court to ball almost a no. And what she woman yin to Musa woman din kuguo. They have not. And my description say the course on the na in fact gymnastics are here course of Parliament. A continuation of the failed JDM 2020 comeback. And homo say anamo ye 2 year ye din kuguo no. Yen treso. And I sebi. A mine or mine also amamu omo edia anim government lapses any mistakes be so abua entrenche womu suban womu de na dino na me de toto de course of Bible mu asem bi esi ye kwame na me de masem na banawie ye ohini ayesi na ni nyansa na chi bi ma biom Solomon e ma mienu kodaye obi awo ba ena ba ko ba wuye ade akyen ya de ni ba wu no o se akra na otiase ye ni ba de ye ni ba no nso ase ye ni ba asem no kopie ohini Solomon anim tamanjira
kabra bonfe
ohini say eh e ma mienu mo se akra yi e mo ba ene akra no mo mfa sika mra ne ye nkyeni mu tamanjira, this is where the meat is. Obano eye ne ba no immediately ka say nana misrew fa akwada no man o se ne ba fa no man eya ye ka the wisdom of Solomon. Most of the time no, we don't pay attention to the conduct of the woman whose child the living child indeed was. Okay abasem na obin fu bi a kire mu say ma minu su oda na di no epusu ohin no e ma ni hu say ampa eyo no ene ye ne ba na de na anya ne ba ne de kwa mi ni su ba na oda na di o se ye ncha akra no mu NDC omoba ana omo pen awini 2020 owuye ana akofo adoba etiase enti omo de omo nyaaya akora no ye nkyeni mu me ka wo fidie so ase mra ye wo mu yi eye mra eye mre pa eye mre boni. The Bible says so. Enti obi a ye di tumidie ana se akanie ahye wonsa no ese se wo da ho so pa. Enti me kan say nyame ma na adoda nkwa akofo ado nyansa wo de ma Solomon ba ni titru nyansa ni ojo a wo de ma sa maame na ne bate ase no a wo ka say say ye bekumi ba de ene fa no ma no. That concession, that magnanimity, that sense of being, that sense of consciousness, that sense of responsibility, that sense of thinking and looking forward. Chairman General, me feel say a hono and yen we pay yo. Enti ama wo mo a press a yen kum bano, yen che banu mu no. Wo mo ya anya ayi basis bi. Mesre mampani na pamfo. Mo hwe ne ma bi kakra. If you say ye wa huyan mu e wo man mu ha. The world over there are crises. There's a problem. Mwana mo ntuo mo ne yoye ebe ma de ni ba wu a opese ye che banu mu no. Wanya nyina so anase nanim agu ase. So let's all be careful. Now me wie kra no de na me kan say. Kwame.
Yes.
Say tibia na Nyankopon twedi amponte ase. Na ono na ma bibia si the way sisi. Onya predestination there, but or allow NC. Say ye nyame pese ebri bi atwa mu na obi unni susuye se obeye president. And so BBC ema be president ubedi umre wuko se nyame pese obesan ba bio mu a sabi enya parliament ada bia be ma amamu aye den ene be ma wasan abo nyame na ne hihye no obetumi aye amanaba ba yesa nyame no so hihye se unsan ma bio mu a emfa ho ne nipa anamuntu aye betu it will come to naught. Kwame, the most powerful spiritual statement that came following COVID-19 in face of Ubiaho Nebahe, it came from a jurist, the Chief Justice of the United States of America, John Roberts. Kwame, cancer kutina media. COVID-19 has pierced through our illusions of certainty and control. It has taught us that we are not in charge. Someone else is. Let's be sober. COVID-19 abawura yen ye boa ye sina katim so. Acha yen say ye ni wo ye ho obi therefore be ene de. Ye mra ye ho ase. Ni nsua di nyame e wo de ka kire. Kwame manuasi.
Kwame me da say alote impacho brem yanko parliament. Any comments on the Supreme Court ruling?
Yeah, and you mean more for parliament more for the Achimota. Name is Kokrokoo and a be Metia Dr. James Atulinsi. The leading estate developer on OCC houses, OCC estates, OCC homes of all sizes. Nti Ghana for a baby papa da Korea properties. Maganda miya Kwame topic si yo titilala sola. But see, the truth of the matter in there. Same manye ya woso enye. That is the kind of politics we are practicing in this country.
No nyon demand ya na.
Onye demand ya yen. Nti ase awo nji nzi the COVID na wama economic stagnation aba na menke de hang parliament nti mozu meye zamepie. We are building a nation. Well, I mean, maybe here motivational speech, but the truth is that, yeah, Obugo could do baby. Our Ghanaians will be fed up with us.
And they
And
already.
I could see some now dorsum. Until Wama, the chaff is looking like the wheat. And people believe that as a chaff, and no matter what, people will buy me to be a wheat. That is what we are doing in this country. Them parliament needs supremacy. It's all because of the constitutional structure. Because if you executive are legislature, if you legislature never judiciary, and you don't enter into my arena, and so you are trying to undermine, but it's a constitution. People went to a constituent assembly.
Consultative
Assembly.
92 constitution. It wasn't constituent.
Oh, okay. Consultative assembly. Waka draft constitution was a man. Then comes 2019, 2020, 2021. Was the fix the country? Fix the country people were calling for a review of our constitution. Now, we also pretend over our constitution. But then when it comes to the interpretation of our constitution, or then when the judiciary is there to tell you that baby afi on here, baby afi oye. We have all accepted that. Two political parties, it got to one point in 2013. There was a ruling that favored the now opposition party. Mama bu say makaho yesha white ye koyaba ye dikunyim. Then what happened? The same apex court what declare mobinum enwa I sometimes in the hunde eto bo baba won san bo ho. But the supreme the objective only in there yeah politicians in yeah parliament me yeah za boy here mangana. But right now Kwame, the truth is that wa ye mama wuzu ye mo ye mo nti oba ndamana then we confuse our own people. Ghanaians are confused.
So all this is a struggle for power?
It's a struggle for power.
That's it. What else?
This is what we can look. This is the strategy. Let's go ahead and do it, so that by 2024, Ghanaians will be fed up with the MPP, and the MPP is also making little mistakes. I want to more manage.
Some big mistakes.
And see, it emboldens the opposition. But strictly speaking, the government is doing its best.
Now, if the best is not seen as good enough, I want you then.
Yeah, but that is where Kwamna Duncan is at this studio to explain to Ghanaians. There, look, we are doing our best to sink onto the ears of Ghanaians. Say, yema communication or ye juma magana futasa. Nah, but sir, Obia or your Parliamentary Service Board member. Otumbe Jina public, you know, there one bo first deputy speaker now Soma. That is where we have gotten to. And they are claimed as heroes. The mob will claim them as heroes.
Why not look at them?
I said,
Neyima.
What's the end?
I saw my non for your Parliament. A defense of the Constitution. Now, what there was a turn more, but Kodawa was a turn. As a general secretary of a party.
Kwame Hagangan and Ashadano.
Oh, I mean, we
don't the man why I'm there.
But
news is the unparalleled. Kwame.
Yes.
Don't we see that Ghana is tired? And this is now time for us as Ghanaians to come together as one. Now you making sure that this nation survives. Now I may blame some of the academia. Obia just because of party affiliations, Obia come up here. Go for Kenyi. And have we dissected the problem that is confronting us? The Anambibi I can be Ofiyakuma, and then just because I belong to this political party into North America to favor my party people. Come on, let's dilute the minds of Ghanaians. Bibi kiti siwa na abani bro, abani yedemo, na in some. And it got to a point at Parliament. One go boss to one for bleeding cho obinano. Here Parliament. We also an a coffee shop or Parliament. On your whole abon is you. Cafeteria. Mr. My friend coffee shop. Coffee shop or Parliament coffee shop. No when we go no one tea. My master parliamentarians there. As a warrior, it is not in the best interest of Ghana. They are there because people voted for them. Or the one there, if you were as it happened in 2020, there was skirt and blouse. And bear in mind there, people from political persuasions in a way to Abamo, Parliament, they can make sure there. So why is it boa? Ya bobo ama no ma go kakra ne hinyina ye nyamfoso efim. Ehun ehwe wo friend in social media. Look, in America now, it's $7 something per gallon of petrol.
Peace FM.
Gas, as they call it. Eco Britain is worse. The West Guaponi Nigeria, oil leading producer of oil in Africa. About 1,000 cars was online, were filling station, 1 year fuel. And you would there. In about a year or two, because of this Ukrainian war, a lot of people will be moving in from Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and then Nigeria to Ghana. Because they see this Ghana as a peaceful place. Yeah, you know, there, Abazin all day, yeah. Look at what is happening in Boko. Abazin all day, yeah. You have to boy here, soldiers. Here policemen will protect here frontiers. What are we doing? But we rather go to Parliament. We'll get see we'll find the hospital. What is about war? The one show no one into the hospital here chassis was a yeah. Kwame.
I'm coming.
Getting to a place I'll bear some daching. Now me come out and be on my Facebook, Kwame.
Yes then.
Messi there gradually the NDC is becoming a time ticking bomb. No exploder. In Ghana for baby.
Good morning, Chairman General. The most emphatic statement and analogy ever made on radio by a panelist is the Solomonic wisdom made by my younger brother Kwabena Kabila Bonfe. NDC's child is dead, and they are determined to kill MPP's child as well. Deep thinking. The MPP must listen. Kwabena said, bravo. And then this one from Jay. Kabila has been very deep today. Awesome. So Jay also says, thumbs up to you, Kabila. Meaning baby, and then the spirit ni free baya. Or the aquacofa a Bible mabi pih. And say an opinion soon suma ba papa. And then moving on to this one, let's see. Tell Uncle Alote and Kabila I doff my hat to them both. And that is Angie from Agbawe who sends that one. And then, interestingly, the only person in a hat this morning is Kwame Duncan. Chairman General, good morning. All this happening, such as E-levy brouhaha and the Speaker of Parliament remarks against the President and the Supreme Court, should be put at the doorsteps of the MPP for imposing parliamentary candidates on their electorate in the last general elections. I wish they learned their lessons well this time. Kumali in Kumasi. I don't think Kabila is right if he says NDC lost the 2020 elections because of poor conduct of their case. They went to court when they knew they had lost the election. That's why they couldn't submit any evidence of victory, let alone to conduct a case poorly or rightly. Yafusweje Brodikwano in Ashanti. And then this one says, the Supreme Court should have just sent this matter back to Parliament, as it stated clearly in the Constitution that Parliament is the master of his own rules. Ayuba from Yagbon says, tell Kabila rain or shine, John Mahama will be president 2025. Ayuba, in the Constitution, it states nowhere that Parliament is a master of his rules. But I see your point. And then Nanahesi Ojiri, I want either of you or your panelists to help me solve a confusion. Is Kate Addo not the head of public affairs of Parliament? Yes, she is. Is the office not responsible for issuing communiques for the Speaker? Well, I don't know about that. You're asking how come there's a communique from the office of the Speaker. What does it mean? Nanahesi Ojiri. Well, Let's keep our confusion going. We'll find out eventually. I am optimistic that the minority in Parliament will respect the Supreme Court ruling and do the needful. The NPP must learn a lesson from this Parliament and behave during primaries. And that is from Schiffman in Atosu. Walanyo Nakwetia says, Kabila has said it all. Bravo to him. And then I'll leave this one out. JC, what do you mean by... Okay, I'll just leave it out. One thing I realize is our politicians, they attack and say unprintable words about institutions when they are in opposition. Safo Kantanka in Okanshin sends that one. Kwame, after reading the 29-page ruling by the Supreme Court, I can bet my last coin that Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin didn't issue that shambolic and disrespectful statement. Kabila Achuma Fwasi, well, he's not denied it, so we'll leave it there. I've just tuned in and I've heard people heaping praises on Kabila and Alute. Okay, me too, I doff my hat to them. Kwesi Reynolds in the Agona Adobing. So you don't even know why they are being praised. I like your style. Kwame, critical and strategic planning in our current situation is causing us more. The NDC smells power and they'll do anything to get it. MPP should look sharp. Farouk in Tema. Alute Jacobs has been very diplomatic on his take this morning. Kudos Alute, Bobby Big Boss, Teacher Mante. Wednesday panel, dear, too much. Kabila's submission is fantastic. Parliament does not have any right to interpret our constitution. Nana Ikuama Boateng, Ablikuma Central. We are all under the constitution. The same constitution gave Parliament the power to do what they are doing, so they should respect the verdict. George Kwating in Adenta. So Parliament can vet Supreme Court nominees and approve or disapprove, and that is not interference by the legislature in the work of the judiciary. Yet, Parliament cannot respect the decisions of the same Supreme Court justices approved. Oga Willie sends that one. Ghanaians should stop 137 Parliament in future. Daniel Ochiri in Sotium. Well, people vote the way they want to vote, and we'll all have to live with the outcome of that vote. It's as simple as that. 137 is the number we have in Parliament, and we have one who says he will join the majority. Kabila's analogy of the importance of the role of a mother is especially very telling. NPP must listen. Jay says that. Chairman, thumbs up to Kabila. He said it all. That's Kofi Nyakon in Holland who sends that one in. And then before I go to Kwame Na Duncan this morning, okay, so we're remembering Sweet Gloria, a music legend. For those of you who don't know, Sweet Gloria is the late mother of Abdul Malik Kweku Bako. It's been a year already. On the 6th of March was 1 year. And the final funeral rites and 1 year anniversary of the late Gloria Abacheba Addison is this Saturday, 19th March, 12 noon, Ghana Cocoa Board Training School, Community 6 in Tema. The attire, black and white. Then there's a Thanksgiving service on Sunday, March 20, 8 in the morning at the Tema Joint Church, Community 7. Attire, all white. COVID protocols will be strictly observed. And so Sweet Gloria, a year already. May she continue to rest in peace. The dear mother of Abdul Malik Kweku Bako, editor-in-chief, not in thief, of the New Crusading Guide, who paid us a surprise last Wednesday. Obviously, today there'll be no surprises. Chairman Jonah, one dangerous trend after this Supreme Court verdict is the war drum someone is beating on some media and social media platforms. Are we waiting for that someone to receive hefty slaps before it catches the media attention for public discourse? Kwejo Edu Pako Achim Assume. You mentioned the person's name, but for obvious reasons, I've left it out. I've just dealt with what you've written, and I'll leave it there. Mami Ajwa says, in 2013, the Supreme Court was superb. What has changed today? Well, I leave it. Alute told us what has changed, and we'll leave it there. Kabila and Alute have done very well this morning. Parliament should learn to be in their lane. And as for Speaker Bagbin and what he allegedly wrote about our president recently, the least said the better. Don Pino from Malam. Well, the least said the better. We'll leave it there. Happy birthday to film producer, film director Shirley Frimpong Manso. Have a beautiful day, Shirley of Sparrow Productions. And today is also your birthday, Mr. Albert Edubofor of Kokrokoo. Have a good birthday, Mr. Albert Edubofor. Have a lovely day. Your sister Marianne sends you love. And then Chairman General, it could even happen in the near future that the governing party may be in the minority in parliament. In that circumstances, how will the government work? Both parties must think and start building consensus from now. Francis Brakwa in Kumasi. And then if Honorable Bagman will focus on his position as Speaker, peace will prevail or suffer iron seating. Blame the Supreme Court for this mess. Tell Kabila his hate for JDM will never wash. Our minority will not accept the killer E-levy tax. We, the foot soldiers, are proud of them. Bob Okele in Birmingham. And then we always vote them into power to advance Ghana, but we're always discussing, texting, and calling about how corrupt they are when they are in and out of power, who has chopped which money. God save Mother Ghana, Nana Dollar in Pokwasi. And then if it is not their way, then there is no way. That is the NDC's tactics. KBC in second D. I'll leave it there. Kwame Nampachobrim.
Yo, Chairman General, I'm sure some go cry. I'm sure. Let's see from pim.
Yeah, Jodo.
Can't film from Antomofo.
Yeah, Jodo.
Na Mawabeya. Yena ya kan hobi. Mamumbu muzinu mwebien. Mata sefa. Asamno ho wo mbrakun mu. Na echi the political angle. Na mama sha mata se wo mbrakun no mama kotkoti nkakanka ya botarma
mete
efa mbrakun na hina ya to Samson ya freedom mayaji tum for 1992 masesia o man de ya kabimam kabi o man yezri yejuma safa numu bumu de krona article 1 na headline note on supremacy of the Constitution.
Supremacy of the Constitution.
Ochede oye dem rekun obro bibiara do. Chede he man oye mrekun obro obiara do. Obro president do. Obro na ban government do. Obro oye mreshe begwa. Obro wo fa na oye asendi bia na de hen painful what some no do work out supremacy of the Constitution. Na bi also article 1 na section clause 2 na wa chim da wa kan the Constitution shall be the supreme law of Ghana and any other law found to be inconsistent with any provision of this Constitution shall to the extent of the inconsistency be void. Inti say e shawo kone baby na dem baby di yejuma so nya masaka yin abotodo mas what to mbekun ho na so yin bebra da membran ma otidi an pa otide intentama hwe pastor ha odo yo na ekwo oye article 2 na no so headline note here enforcement of the Constitution need a meeting we ujume na there was a certain strenuous effort. The Supreme Court when you be then there's a certain difference to the people. Where you be? Kwame
na.
Say umbirinti eko oye article 2 clause 4 na. Say Supreme Court obia the assembly kadan. Mbrekun na ahya nyina ya jatum do onye mbrekun na obrade nyina adon o se Supreme Court tena asam do no se wokasa na wo cheda daminsi wonya dam owo abobudon and it is captured in clause 4 o se failure to obey or carry out the terms of an order or direction made or given under clause 2. Clause 2, the Supreme Court shall, for the purposes of a declaration under clause 1 of this article, make such orders and give such directions as it may consider appropriate for giving effect or enabling effect to be given to the declaration so made. In the failure to obey or carry out the terms of an order or direction made or given under clause 2 of this article constitutes a high crime under this constitution and shall, in the case of the president or the vice president, constitute a ground for removal from office under this constitution. A person convicted of a high crime under clause 4 of this article shall A, be liable to imprisonment not exceeding 10 years without the option of a fine. And it goes on. Kwame, and then the point was that the parliament is a master of its own. And the Supreme Court was somebody was making this argument here.
That was Chrissy yesterday.
They must surprise themselves with the content of the Supreme Law. What's on the Kwame? Yenya Eshishia Yadzin Yanan Siwa. No Chobia Butu Mopibia Waye. Ampa Supreme Court one more Queen do one bro hodo. And see, say Mpe Bibi was Supreme Court and not judiciary as a whole. Mpe Bibi one. Mbe Queen also watch a Queen Yamfado. Equal Article 290 on the amendment of the Constitution. Article 290. Now, specific to the judiciary, Article 125, Article 127, Article 129, 145, and 146. Mbekwina kada woye entrenched in nine there wash on concrete.
Want to mean
into me further my parliament there non-entrenched provisions no botum wa fado aye entrenched nche there enya oman yetutu na more crow referendum ma yeji tumin ya ji atum there sedaman dem ye owo constitution mu ya offer oya atemu adwuma no ho say ye pede ye di yensa kan ye dan nanyu a onu ode ye referendum hingina o ma muni na Kabila, yeah, voting population, even the 60 million.
Yeah.
The last time, more than that.
Even the 60 million for purpose of this argument.
I think we're about 17.
No, but for purpose of this argument, even the 60 million.
Yeah.
That's a 40%. At least 40% must turn out to cast their ballot.
Yeah.
What it means is that at least 6,400,000 must go to the polls. Now, say if the matter will pass, 75%, and which works out to about 4,800,000.
Must vote yes.
Yes.
And but what you do is be a Abambag referral to Jacobs.
Oh, Dubai Wada.
Where did you go, Wada? My Kokrokoo was no from Togo Crampo Nonco. Or Gaphobia. And anyway,
and Pachochado, Miss Road.
Miss. Kwame, and see, amendment say a period dana constitution ankasa. That is why if you go to Article 1 clause 1, watch the sovereignty resides in the people. Na a queen. Oya abena hodin ne tumi na odbe yadwuma aban so ye executive ngote won na odbe yadwuma constitution na kire kun a odo afado in the manner laid down within the limits of the constitution. Article 1 oche bibia na American amendment na me chede say a pere yedin yansa ka oya judiciary no bibiara Chida na mo oye 125, 127, 129, 145, 146. Wa bo concrete egu hu into me ya ho hwe. Chida unless you go through
a
referendum. And the figures as have been patched. On yeda oye mo fama go there ekoya then you go and amend. On nam there say ya nyedam yensisi po bia ye de amembun bejago.
That's true.
Now, Kwame market the million. What the room? Equal Article 110, 110. Among Camo. Then the missing Camo can there. Oh, yeah, what friend, a embreddara on a constitution, another the queen or in a boat, a brand, or there, all good to form. So, Article 110, clause 1. Also, subject to the provisions of this constitution. Subject. Ocho Buni Madaman, subject to the shadow, subject to the provisions of this constitution. Parliament may, by standing orders, regulate its own procedure. So they may do that, but whatever they do is subject. It's when people say Parliament is a master, yes, Parliament is a master of its own procedures and all of that. But all of those things, the Constitution says, are subject to the provisions of this Constitution. It's nobody can sit anywhere there. Look, we have been given a certain turf, a certain terrain. That is why the revered justice, I say, yes, you are a master of your own, but the Constitution is your boss. You see, the margins are clear. The margins are clear. If anybody ever thought there, Parliament is a master of its own and that they have the turf and the power to do whatever they choose to do, that is a erroneous impression. On yet, otherwise then others will also have their own turfs and have their own powers to do their own things. Parliament cannot be singled out there or with the Ebrombrado at all, subject to the provisions of this constitution. Na Kwame enche P wom na mbirnti munyamu mu hu there mem wonyo do shoba no cha sama e chimum political angle.
Mate.
Political angle.
What because no those ba.
But P wa ho pa wa kechi for purposes of this
law.
No, why later man tisi na.
Why later?
Onya dejo.
Abogi vita ngogo bi no.
Law ni sha onya better dem.
Kwa bi enhwe me be.
Na why what plan?
You are a scientist so. Nti. You know why the get mu be bi na.
Catch him.
Yes.
Kwame.
Yes.
Political angle. 1992 to date. Yenya parliamentary. The nature and form. Or you're more a boxing arena than what we have today. Come on. A parliament that it's no longer the brain power. It's no longer.
It can't the editorial of the National Forum neither.
It's no longer the power of the brain.
Force of logic.
Kwame, there. Kwame, Parliament. May a member of Parliament. Munkofu akwejina room wa to abamam. Na adibiru kodo of Parliament. Na mentase. Na mede nyansa na adwen. Maka ma Parliament. Menfefo a wate or mani ya wate. Mese no. Na me je mi kafi be mamete. Kwame show. Me mama tena wo Parliament. Some ya front bench. Say back bench. Middle bench. Oh, okay.
But middle bench is home. I mean to the work middle bench.
Okay, middle bench. Okay. For purposes of this argument. Middle bench. Na Kwame ma so if me godo.
No.
Je mi ka. Da me come speaker. Mbeshebe gwan chame na gwan otim na o mahanyimnyam o mahanyam e madam no wo fra yen there honorable me ka me gwan do na se won tema onu obaya sika twetwe ma chi kwampo me the blade twetwe bi na nwom
nti bi da
under the Fourth Republic Democratic Dispensation. This is the parliament. And who presides over this parliament?
The right honorable speaker.
My goodness.
They described as the most experienced.
From Alpha, he was there. Kwame, from Alpha, he was there. Through Speaker of Parliament, of the institution where you have been with for as many as how many years?
28.
28 years. Kwame, yes.
We are in the 29th.
That indeed Parliament has passed through you. And you are making us all as a country the impact of the effect that Parliament has had on you. Rather, why do in the boxing arena? Obise, Adibi or Mentasi, Yatuaba, no Demika or Demiko, one time a minister, deputy minister. a Paul Buta, we could put brain. Adaka what we be grain. My goodness. Carry ourselves about as members, honorable members of Parliament.
We all work as a one no here.
And see, Babi, that is what he presides over today. Na Kwame, mamim, and one way membra, and now Biara water so a siambra, one tongue cassa, sir, at some what food the one summer bar. Mamim and Tia, what that ma, oya, me for you there. Man, Tomika. Ya botana da wada ban toba na shomna wanga so for adwin for fam ansana kasa. That is what lawyers do. Lawyers and prempima wote him say ya da mentiti ni wada mamma one kra kwa Duncan mobwa one because we also say a Supreme Court gives a ruling and then you have journalists reporting. Then a journalist calls the minority leader who is a trained lawyer. So, well, I'm not too happy with this ruling, but let me first surprise myself. Let me first study the ruling. Then I can proceed. Kwame, Supreme Court, the one, Anukasaban, the minority leader was on air that this is a E-levy ruling, a E-levy judgment. Minority leader, a lawyer. Fine. You have no intention.
No, political rhetoric.
What's that? What, Massa? Political rhetoric in cheddar order they would see the two baby. Anote, political rhetoric, you first have a profession, and you need to protect this profession. I mean, this profession, everybody admires this profession. It's a noble profession.
Yeah.
And again, you don't paint a picture there. I'm the Mbrana Kosu and I'm the one in swim. You don't paint that picture on the altar of politics at all. Young for no change, it's young for sir. Kwame
na.
Embrace Begwananka South China or Tegum. First, he tackles the president and then tackles the judiciary, especially the Supreme Court. President, Asami Bai. Now, some more kind manner. In fact, on my mupa, the constitutional lawyers, to the constitution. What I say? What to what be fratam? So the background part, what may be what you be, what froby?
What to be?
What to be? Say a papa.
No, one may be so.
A kufado. Or the meeting to minimum papa. And the famous Tufu and Attorney General, young lawyer, is understanding of the law. Now, Kwame Mananga Sawaya to this point.
Yeah.
Now, smoking on you, mana. As smoking in there. I am the queen, Yedibu, or man. Emi president. Mumbo. Emi president. Emi. Na maben obiara wa bem on yo bio mbrekunyin no do da mensa so na so na mbrekunyin na che de parliament mbur mbrekunyin no do asemdefo temwafo ejumani na obi anyu obrodo. These were the words of the president, and that my Supreme Court akan no kwado pepe. He was not even speaking as the president. Because first and foremost, he's a lawyer, and he understands the law. Kwame, Abamba bin Baya, as a president in the commenting, I am myopic and myopic. I thought you would even go for it to tell us, no myopic na President Okan, no myopic no yimana. The master me, you don't even need to be a lawyer to say that Parliament on the Queen do. Aya temwa mpemfo na temwa djuma na nkasa so womber mbrekwin no do aban mbrekwin no. You don't need to be a lawyer to make this statement. So if the president makes this statement, no myopic no mana, just use words. But we may even tamper justice here with mercy on the case of the president. But Kwame, to deride the Supreme Court the way he did.
I don't see.
I mean, he describes the ruling as a reckless. You were talking about incursion. You were talking about incursion. Incursion, we can live with incursion. A reckless incursion. Now somehow kind there. Oh, yeah, Supreme Court. Court about Tana. Hina said, you're done. And more did the hair. Or them ready, your Juma, Monka Banda, you will poem. May I penny yan? On no, me impa. On no, me man. And the two minutes on yet and work a fefi, a ponasi, you two men, the queen or die there, or damn home. Why you will Juma atina, you will Juma. Mother. Begwan channel sim or pain or sim. Also, you're reckless. Man, reckless in patch there. There, my open. Chada. My goodness. Elsewhere, Kwame, this will be the basis for the speaker to be removed from office. Because this is very scathing. Look,
Obiswaka or Chenagin.
Kwame, one charging them.
No then.
Kwame, to describe the job that a constitutional body has done. As reckless, in fact, it is not that ordinary constitutional body. It's one arm, an organ of government, an arm of government. When you have not even apprised yourself with whatever has been given out there, in your time, you share what was in there, and you describe the ruling. And in fact, what he has done, he has put the entire Supreme Court in this bad light. That is the Speaker. The Speaker of Parliament. But is there any surprise here? That's a Speaker who is presiding over a Parliament that has been turned into a boxing arena. That's him.
And is that his fault?
Kwame. Even this radio, I'm not saying that it's any lesser than Parliament. Oh, but now will be about down. Fantastic. Kwame, the owner Speaker of Parliament today. Kwame, owner Speaker of Parliament today.
It's just benevolence.
Abba, no, what's the one? What Bernard is why? So what's so? We have come to know you. The kind of person you are who will not even around this table tolerate anybody to come and say anything at all and go away. That if you happen to be the Speaker,
which I am not.
No one know what that one shut up. Every Parliament.
So that is the Speaker of Parliament today, describing the ruling as a reckless incursion into the remit of Parliament. The recklessness, no. Obia Kwame name what the form. No buffer. Oh yeah, my Supreme Court. Madam me what about to go. I thought that the best thing to do to a judgment or a ruling is to punch holes by way of superior argument.
Yeah.
You don't come with any and then you say you are urging the person who went to the court there go for review. Now,
also
review now. What the Facham? What the bin? What the matter? What the bin? What the matter? And why you reckless and Kwame? See, the person who describes a whole panel and was waiting my wire. Kwame, you describe them as being reckless. Then you ask this person to go back for the same reckless people to sit on it. That's the Speaker of Parliament. That's the Speaker. Babin and
also if you're more cash.
And one common there. Just when you go blown Dubai. Emma Miche, they are real boy had me on the Dubai.
Dubai is a real boy,
so on the whole. It's coming. Nah, I shall say, me for it.
What time, Master?
Yes, why down. Kwame, ma Ocha Hubio, your former President Mahama.
Umami wounds in the air, my Casapino.
No, the man. I shall the chamber. You must
Come now.
as for former President Mahama, go back. Abra, the national ID card or the national ID card near the biometric registration. It was a matter that an NDC person took to court, to the Supreme Court.
No, the leadership declared that one party members won't get registered.
And but it was taken to court.
To court.
When the court, in fact, he himself, in one of his rounds, assembly the Supreme Court, in the Supreme Court back. Supreme Court Kasan, Kwame go refer to his statement, deriding the Supreme Court. Refer. He's been consistent. Ya don't know to change here. Nangasa, okay, Supreme Court there. 2020 abana ya twin. Antin one CB epem. Man nko for so ho obi akaje tea, obi akaje biscuit. Obi a wo fa na laptop odumi, obi a basa ya se party mgaze ni. What you quick get home ma. One gets a one who 12 for but I'm one for him. Emma Supreme Court so say. Go and refer to his statement. Go. I am making this point to buttress the fact there. Former President Mahama said, "Oh yeah, asama court batan bakan son kwam manager." No court batan one sashi. Court batan one sashi. I thought that in Chobia the highest office of the land. In Enya amanfun hotum, you will be measured. Nancha yending yam pon order kasa. Na kasa so wo kwa ba fodo a ba kasa. E mo bichire. Na mebo mponya wen kwame. This is only intended. The statements are minority leader. Oh yeah, that it is a ruling in support of E-levy.
Yeah.
Right honorable. This statement today is reckless incursion. My former President Mama, there it is not, as it's not surprising. Okay, no words now. The ruling was not surprising, but something.
Shocking, but not surprising.
Shocking, but not surprising. I mean, use such words. Was shocking, but not surprising. It means that you expected it to go in a particular way. Yeah. A former president.
Oh, he's entitled to that.
My goodness, I see. You are entitled. You are entitled not out of a vacuum.
Yeah.
You're the people who surround you, and who have the eye to see the law and to understand the law must be the ones who advise you to enable you speak. Kobra, sekenzi, jina bibia, until I hear me young. Until I hear me, Yamu Crab, me yadina, able to me, I can basa. As a meche, Nina to cover up the Kwame. MDC minority in Parliament. Now for them, it is not the power of the brain. Na ahwadzen dodo a ewo. Osana mete wafana Nila Devanapoy.
What's the name?
I say my yelling it is in defense of the constitution. Kwame, amazing that Parliament today to defend the constitution is not about your brain power. It is to go to the floor and engage in fisticuffs.
Brawn,
fantastic. Kwame, it's all not Tunchia. Mete as many of them, and they all towing one line. Now I pray and hope that Ghana for Dona Bohum. But for these two developments which have engulfed the entire world, these two developments, na wa mama dynamics asesa in chamembu pa de 2017 coming 18 19 the programs which were being rolled out and there may be na wa masesia you na asesa affect we are the nafa the anana magana. We are not an exception, except that people may still want to consider there say yeah, and there may be able to try more about hunting a name end of 2019 through 2020. Me the 2021 man she had been there. 2022 Yabasha said in the Matuye. And my bench be no so baby often putting. Or the Yaba Kauma Braba. for these two issues. Kwame, Amembupa, then only the Ekufadu Nebedechi, Baumia, Obatine Gobia, into the Mayon. Let us not, I'm finishing final. Let us not give in. The 2008, Damanda Dana, when they came, they took us several years back. Let us not give in to such deceptions. Let's stay focused.
Kwame Duncan Medasi, Eja Kwabna in Corona, Queens, New York. Tell Kwame now that Parliament is not a boxing arena. Boxing matches are arranged between two boxing managers with a fat purse. Unlike what happened in the chamber, which was an act of violence in the highest gear. Eja Kwabna. Kwame,
I take that one.
If we want our peace of mind, maybe we should just make Bagbin number 1. It appears he's not happy with number 3, Brichum. Let's see, moving on from Brichum. As payback for the Supreme Court ruling, the minority yesterday shot down a loan agreement meant for the construction of 40-bed hospitals in Ayinso and Efijasi and Ofenso, as well as completing and equipping the Old Tafo and Kumasi South maternity blocks. Ghanaians must take note. Kweku Bawe Bulemi. This hang parliament is very good, pa. The happenings in parliament is a lesson. I pray the MPP will learn by listening to their constituents rather than the delegates when choosing candidates for parliamentary and presidential. Akweti and Fomina are there as case studies. A word to the wise. Michael Ashalaja. Michael, Wabing.
Oh, I need to challenge.
Tell Kwame Duncan that there are several drivers, some of whom have been driving for over 30 years, yet are very reckless. So he shouldn't be surprised about the performance of parliamentarians.
Why a sprinter?
Francis Brakwa Kumasi.
Even though they have driven for more than 30
years.
Abeku in Lashibi. Did the Speaker of Parliament, who is a lawyer, actually insults the president, who is also a lawyer, for expressing his opinion on a Supreme Court ruling? Well, not directly insults, but not very palatable words. Kwame Duncan is right. Because of the character of Ghana's parliament, it is worse than Putin's conduct. Dr. Ntiamwa Agugwasantiachim. If the NDC reads the ruling of Kolendi JSC, especially on the subject matter, unless for propaganda purposes, that the minority still advances to mislead their supporters, the case has been settled. Kamal Amasamang Bruni sent that one.
Kolendi, Onyi Babi, share the same bundle. Upper West.
Okay.
Ja, I know if you sombo, no mami, Babi, no mami, if you sombo. Then Bobofi Nadoli. What she wore.
Kwame, look at the way the MPP is struggling in Parliament. MPP is struggling in Parliament because of skirt and blouse votes. It seems our leaders have not learned any lessons from it. They are still using mafia tactics to conduct our polling station elections. Godwin in La Paz. Thank God the Supreme Court set the record straight. Now Speaker Bagbin, who was playing hide and seek with E-levy, he can take a full breaker or breather. Kabiyesi in second D. Kwame Duncan, stop the blame game and blame your own party MPP, the member who voted for the speaker. And remember, this parliament is not like the previous ones we've seen. It's 137, 137.
One time I said it here.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Well, it was bound to happen.
So, the way this hang parliament is dangling, I pray it doesn't fall. Master Planner Junior Kentampo. Sir Obama in Pokwase, Chairman General. In other news, we, the foot soldiers of the NPP, are outraged by the purported 50,000 cedi donation by the Chief of Staff to Efia Schwarzenegger. We call on our appointees to empower their members, not opportunistic media personalities, said Obama.
By the way, it's purported.
Yes.
So it's not confirmed.
Well, up to now, they haven't denied it.
It's been denied.
No.
Yes, there's a denial.
From the office of the Chief of Staff?
Yes, that does never been anything like that. Yes.
Sir Obama, I hear there's a denial.
Yes.
Okay.
I was in there. The Muslim Quincy, one or so.
And Pocho,
Walk against some a biggie. Oh, was as in Zira. I and I. Oh, you was Obama. He's another nice guy. Other party for Washington. He's another nice guy.
Kwame, Alban Bagman is not number 3. That so-called position is predicated or conditioned on the absence of the president and his vice. Bruno sends that one. I agree with Kwame Duncan. The bane of the MPP is his communication. It's terrible. And secondly, there are some appointees that are not helping the president to succeed.
Yes.
He should have fired them long ago. They have gotten too comfortable knowing the president won't touch them. He, the president, is partly to blame for all of this. Confo sends that one. What is happening in Parliament is interesting because now the parties know that one seat is precious. The MPP may lose more seats if they let incumbent MPs influence the polling station elections to contest. I am not surprised their members in Formina painted their office in NDC colours. Eric Amponsah-Boateng, tax expert. I find it quite interesting, but technically speaking, Formina MPP offending. Esiama. Say he's not a member of the MPP.
No, he's a member of the majority.
Yeah, but he's not a member of the MPP.
MPP.
Okay.
Technically speaking.
Technically speaking.
Okay, so somebody has sent me a newspaper front page, The Inquisitor. It says 50,000 cedi funeral donation by Chief of Staff. Ifia lied.
Yes,
Ifia Schwarzenegger lied. I see. Okay.
Now, I mean, being used to me as Lake now. And yes, leaking. Because this is at the YouTube, no, was in your Oscar. We better go me only the boy. All your money is slaking a barber.
Alote the slaking.
Yeah, the slaking. We go here once if you want to show which here. No must make a big bottles.
Alote, Umpocho, Mayembe.
Oh, I get Kwame.
Umpocho, remember.
But I get Kwame.
America Ebusia Funina there, Memory Day, Saturday the 19th and the 20th. We're commemorating the 1-year anniversary of Sweet Gloria. Final funeral rites and 1-year anniversary celebration of the late Gloria Addison comes off this Saturday, the 19th of March, at the Ghana Kokrokoo Training School, Community 6 Tema. Attire is black and white. Then on Sunday, there's a Thanksgiving service at the Tema Joint Church at 8 a.m. Attire is all white. Strict COVID-19 protocols will be observed. And let me just add, Sweet Gloria was the dearest mother of Abdul Malik Kweku back home. May she continue to find rest in the Lord. And on the brighter side of life, a very good morning to you, Boachi from Pokwase. Have a beautiful day, Boachi from Pokwase. Anopemichia Papa. And then to you, Madam Charlotte Obaya Ofori of Abosokan Post Office. Madam Charlotte Obaya Ofori of Abosokan Post Office, you're 50 years old today. Welcome to the 5th floor. Happy birthday to you. Love from your daughter, Portia. And it says, Chairman John, a happy birthday to Lawyer Atu Eshan. Today is his great day. Lawyer Atu Eshan. Happy birthday from your sweet wife, Josie, and the children. And I see that there's a response to Alote. Somebody says, oh, where is that one? I saw it much earlier. I'll say Alote is a what? Oh, Alote is a slay Oluman. It's from Nana Hesi or Jiri. Oh, I see. Anyway.
Kwame, one problem with Ghanaian banks.
Basama.
One, Agriculture Development Bank is supposed to be doing what? What is their core objectives?
They're a bank.
Or a bank. It's supposed to help.
Women are more sensitive.
Oh, you're sensitive.
Banks.
Missy, I have a problem with Ghanaian banks.
But
because they go no, Mama, Agriculture Development Bank. One call mission Yabaji.
So yeah, it's sensitive because as for bank, the least thing that tends to detract from them.
I'm just mentioning one.
But the moment you mention one, you're focusing. I can mention others. What is your problem with Ghanaian banks? Let's look at it.
Ghanaian banks. My problem with them is that they fear taking risk. One, and they seem more to be funding importers than people who are doing serious business in this country. That's my problem with them.
Okay, a bank is a business primarily. You understand that?
Yes.
And they decide the levels of exposure that they put themselves to. So at the end of the day, you may sit back and say you have a problem with them because you think they fund importers. Kaide bank be a uskan waji, and was you juman when you kakra. So they look at their risk portfolio, they decide that, look, this is riskier than that, that is riskier than that. If, for example, I put my money into manufacturing, the returns will come in about 7 years. If I put my money into importation, the returns will come in about 6 months. So they look at all of that.
They look at all of that.
You and I, if we don't have access to funding, we'll complain just like you're complaining.
Yeah, but
for somebody else, it's fine.
You see, there's one mission every local bank. Order also ball mine. Here we have an army of unemployed graduates. Abadin yebeya. So obidi ni se shejuma bi mu. Ye botum ya buan. Ne day in day out will supervise that business because ekwa abrochira e shejuma bi asa banks wo.
So that's a different conversation.
Kwame,
Alute.
My message is go through. Oh yeah, then
that's a different conversation.
Well, that's my biggest problem with Ghanaian banks.
Okay. Interestingly, Abdul Malik Kwekubaku says Alute has a point. Focus. That's the core business. Focus on banks. Meanwhile, a banker friend of mine says, Kwame, that's an excellent position on banks and risk in Ghana. Other people's money in a chaotic environment. You know, be small. There you go.
And that breeds more of this Ponzi microfinance schemes.
Focus.
I will be was surprising. Wamba. Mestre obi biara opese odi enkomo fa Supreme Court judgment no say onto the book non kind. If it's in someone raising in they've even addressed in that judgment.
Fantastic. Erudite judgment.
The question of the supremacy of Parliament being master of its own rules.
Yeah.
Parliament is a master of its own rules. It is true. As someone could do Supreme Court now was not about the procedure in Parliament. It was about the constitutionality of a rule in Parliament.
Fantastic.
In that instant, it was above and beyond Parliament. Our Parliament is not sovereign. Make no mistake about it. Yeah. Now, Mr. Speaker, now because I said the medical canon. Why are so inconsistent? Say I don't even know which of his statement na meaning. Question decision of Supreme Court na yen. Say in fact, in agreement with a minister, a reckless incursion into the remit of Parliament. What's the Yanko review? What will be that review? What would the review be? And no better than reckless incursion. Or you are advising the Supreme Court say, or the review no bar, they should deny jurisdiction. I mean, what absurdity? On any way do you see? In fact, it is your conduct that is absurd, Mr. Speaker.
Kabila, if we agree that he didn't use palatable language.
Why didn't he say so?
No,
I didn't say that. I agree with the words he used.
At this point, no. You cannot tell me you don't agree with the words he used. Because you realize there's conveniently you see you disagree. I would respectfully ask you, if you don't agree with the words you use, do not repeat them in reference to
okay. I didn't until if you know but or the kata
the National Forum editorial for Tuesday has responded appropriately to him. I won't say much.
Okay.
I me person me dealing with an issue I am for text ba. Sabi Chairman General. Me started dim a man Yosemachi, Miss Adia na check akra. Mo bia minister me the 10 year politics. Make no mistake about that. In fact, me papa wo me JK Bonfe. Oye DC Kintampo between 2001 2005.
Under J.
Kufo, His Excellency J. Kufo, Papa agreed to this morning. I had the privilege and opportunity to sit on Adas FM in Kintampo. Do you know for Jackson? I discussed my father's reign, his reign. I criticized him. But me Papa says I'm not here. And indeed, for those who don't know, no. Chairman General.
Come on,
I am a Gonja, and my great grandfather was called Mama.
That's how I pronounce Mama.
In fact, that's it. Mama, no. It's if you like, a corruption of Muhammad.
Okay.
Mamadou, Mama, Nina Muhammad.
Okay.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
And there's a Gonja proverb that arose by a decision or an action of my great grandfather. Makula wunso. Me ma sebi.
Proverb.
I want I.
Proverb na.
Makula wunso ana makai. I want wisie me nkotre ja homa wisie enkomani. Makula wunso. Nukra sunti means robi na me di nukra sie. I'm living to that word. Na Chairman General. Ya kan se bi wo ha. Wo ya adwuma sa dan kalote. Now we am from Soki to Abia. It means said the way you need. And I'm speaking this in direct reference to government. Aduma mo ye nyina achi. Sa mo mam refi sa mra ye wom ye ehunye hi abre. Na appointee bi aye nyina ye nim no say bia na ene no what test con. All of a sudden, obi be ko ni fie no no cars be say 15 si ho no a. Abanfo bu befu. Ye nyina ye su. You allow certain statements to go unchecked. Abanfo bu befu. We are ya downfall. Ya no na ekoba. All of a sudden, jama opposition bi wadane ho sebi. Obi a wunni mo bia amanfo fro kra, onfa wo phone a amanfo bu befu.
Peace FM.
Kwame, as much as in Crawford can say communication and communication, it is not just communication. Conduct and communication, Kwame. Conduct and communication, they move together.
Now they see from
conduct and communication.
So may your conduct now and your communication prove so very.
Me honest, enti me wi akosi se woman baako ekoja baako a enyina
ne kwakwan say edidija edidija ni munane nam
eni munane nam
eno na pesa oka
akan ye na maka cho mo say nya tabe nya sa keke sabi tumidie ya dia mo brase ne die
enyo bia nanim
de se obi ahu
alote
so obi ahu no a ene
asema eken ama menya mboaye from Fidelity Bank. Jeff Fidelity Bank or a Ghanaian bank?
No, or a Ghanaian bank.
What's the Chairman General? Please tell Mr. Alote Jacobs that the recommendations he's talking about, we at Fidelity Bank are doing that at an interest rate that will blow his mind. 5% per annum.
Wow.
We call it Orange Corners. We're doing it in collaboration with the Dutch government. Another initiative directly by Fidelity Young Entrepreneurs Initiative. Wow. Fidelity Bank. Someone smart.
Well, yes, smart.
One fat bibi kakam bremi na mendidia. Adia meyamono. Okay.
I'm for boy who was the crackers.
But more bias for Fidelity Bank.
Okay.
I have a bias when it comes to Fidelity Bank.
Okay.
Sometimes you need to provoke.
It may declare me bias for Fidelity Bank and the pay, but free advert here, what's it? Orange Corners in collaboration with the Dutch government. What's it? It's 5% per annum.
Which is not
bad. In fact, think about it. By the way, let me say good morning to you, Mr. Freddie Atefa of Fidelity Bank. Mimpesu biya bejo shine. One now this information in Bremen. Mr. Freddie Atefa of Fidelity Bank.
Yes, smart, papa.
Na eja mini unti. Mini Fidelity inti na mayasan. And interestingly, am I seeing right? Obise Kwame, I am a beneficiary of the Fidelity Bank Orange Corners.
Hey,
so is Asili Coffee. Ka young man now be Asili Coffee guy no bahan.
Yeah.
I see.
Okay, now.
So interestingly,
boy now.
Yeah,
this one says, Chairman General, we're listening to you live at Kaswa Oreku's Washing Bay. Good morning to you, Nana One in Kaswa, and the guys at Kaswa Oreku's Washing Bay. And then Abrewa says, Kwabna Bonfest advice. Even though good, it's a bit late in the day. We've made up our minds.
Hey, I'm rather not careful.
I say, Abrewa, I depend on Troy. Let's see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Wrapping up slowly. And this one says, it says we're listening to Peace FM through Adas FM Kentampo, Bono East, Ghana.
That's right.
Tell Kabila we are very proud of him.
I'm proud of them too.
Vespa Adas FM Kentampo sends that one. Kwame, Ghanaian banks belong to the people of Ghana, not a private bank. You can't take a risk with someone's money. You can take a risk with your own money. Alfie, I don't know exactly what you mean, but as far as I know, all the banks in Ghana today are privately owned. There may be some government interest here and there, but political extremism shall surely undermine the progress of Mother Ghana. Dennis Asante Mbubiashi. Alote mentioned that also. Kwame, no one should blame the Speaker, Alban Bagbin. We should blame our own MPP MPs who voted against our own Speaker, Michael Quay, in favor of Bagbin. Those MPP MPs who deliberately voted for Bagbin as Speaker should bow their heads in shame. We're going to wise up at the constituency level. Oga Willie in Nkarie. Well, for those of you who may want to, we hear Oliver Baka Vomao has been granted bail, and I'm just trying to look for the details. I haven't found it yet, but you see, I'm on bail. Let's see how that pans out. Okay, my joy online. It's my joy online, you know. Yes, Oliver Baka Vomao has been granted bail by Tema High Court. Justice Daniel Mensah presiding, to the tune of 2 million cedis. Okay, and Bibian Kanhubium. Right, and so that is just by way of information. News.
Kwame.
Yes.
137. As a non-partisan person now, it was good for us. We are only failing to learn from the good use of it.
And Pocho, at this point, a court will have to determine that.
It's been determined long ago.
And Pocho or Supreme Court.
But you don't have that seat. If
then you can no longer continue. He's already out.
He might be even be prosecuted and
yes.
I mean,
and he's showing gross disrespect to the court. Gross disrespect. He's been backed and supported by the entire party.
Na obra pa yo ru akwan anemu ndi wusu school no say adwun hwe kan masaman na Kwame increase in road accidents.
Okay. And Reverend Pearson.
Kwame,
yes.
Was it last week? There accidents are also Accra Kumasi Road.
Yes, boy.
On just where that road don't do about 3 accidents, claiming a lot of lives. Now, Kwame, accident in Zusa, driver.
When would accident be seen to one?
Driver wo.
The side for not the Bukwaka.
Enya kwa driver no do sit then also abonsam. This abonsam why wild. Because in your accusation in your mic no wa mark. Now abonsam so akem hey Mike. Chale yi onya mi o won angasa no why the wa accuse me.
Also wala.
Abonsam in Mike is in Kobo.
Mama gajo. Nje ni na Bible. Abonsam oni na propose ngom. No, the otu from say Michael on friend Michael. Hey Mike. He minimum.
Yeah,
it's becoming too much. What is happening? You had discussed the Massemia several times on your platform. Me then you pronounce there from Takrady to Accra through Cape Coast. If he wabo from Kakra. Na Kwamina, and you send some more from now.
Better.
And when the accident in most time in Osi Wadomina so Kwano do. In Netina official one, or your better car Quenu. In Zion Kofupi. No, I can't. In this army assembling, one assembly now we're creating. Goma is assembling. There when ya offender grados adi no wotum watro ni nyina afi kwando. At least it's happening. The people of Central Region. Now, what is happening? Is it the road design? And then the drivers, because the men pay the mobile buses in these big buses here were pretty from Accra to Takrady. Kwame, show overtaking. Sometimes in there from Adi. From Kaswadi ba Goma Budubram no so aya to papa amazizi ama waye approaches be a routine amafutum ko oba oye kakra we reduce kakra, but these big buses they don't care, they are behaving like the sprinters. We are no age there nyana driver na okoku nkofu pi wo dominating na abonsam na oye na menyin da on incidences abonsama tired why tired wo ya accusations no
your mic is in common.
No, your mic is in common there is only movie I swear. On swear by heart. Kwame, there's the need for the Ministry of Transport, the GPRTU and other transport organizations. There is the need. There will be share. Kwame, is becoming too much. There should be an outreach there, station to station. They should have a complete record of all drivers. It's an organization. And so want to get and there, apart from one they are not part of the GPRTU and progressive and cooperative fund. Or they just like that. And say yes, sir. The organization should come together. Yes, sure. Here drivers see.
What reality? That's your da.
And you ma, the last one in there, Makede rolling timing. What the BB? Well, ma,
I step down.
Step down.
Especially a what tension? No, oven.
Oven.
Yes.
Ekea. Oven. Wofi alatabe 1983. Oven bokun kofa ti dem wo kukun kofa alata hon.
Yes.
Wo kukun kofa mefi what it does be share. One accelerator na say. Can't we do it again? Again, last one, Kwame. What the road towing vehicle issue was the bay? Ghana fu ye pino what the I know kuku yan kwa fu they be na kala ka shakala say stationary car was one she no we kuku kwa fu off road she na was e kwa twu na young go through we. Oh, yeah, Sampa.
Yes, Alote Jacobs. Before I come in Abeba Nayapon and a quick one says, Chairman General, happy birthday to Clement Ewa of Church of Christ Educational Complex from your father Sami and your mother Olivia. We love you, our dear son. God bless you. Clement Ewa, happy birthday to you. And belated birthday wishes to Nanaya Japoman Loco. Nanaya Japoman Loco, belated wishes to you, the head of consumer marketing at Echo Bank. Peace 104.3. Let's see. Kwame Yampone.
Yeah, ma alote or that fe, yeah, chat or yeah, won't she share any be or come na ma faman to Sunday. I'm on the DVLA board.
Okay.
The road users rep.
Okay.
Now, Kwame, Nina and the man night.
Road users and passengers and drivers.
Road users. The road users.
Drivers.
Yeah, Mongo change. I use road. Whether you are cyclists, you are. We are all repping.
It's a feel to grab out. You are.
That's right, road user. I mean, the man night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A hen, impedifi baby ko odi ko baby fofor the vehicle echi ekwan na onamdo na echi oye mayefa regulatory regime asana echi yimpa na kasa amina nani na say ka injama ohia papa na nimu all there nsuko modo ye yimpa na malotereka madodo yi wangasa ibiribi baya ebohu dewura ejuma ku bia no so ye kasa dewubo kasa ejuma bi won so de siwanyo do na wode wan boye e mangasa ibiribi me de siwanyo do ansa na makasa kura maka bibi kakra kwame afereba yereka afereko yereka yaka. Oh yeah, impatience.
I love that.
Impatience. ABC over speeding and poor maintenance.
But it's impatience.
Impatience. Yeah, Doris, you're right.
Impatience. Yeah. Kwame, edu baby ma ebia bibinti traffic at shadow ne bo hu a enwo de wonyi abota. Enkafu na wo kwan do don wo beda kwan no do. Na ho nam kwan nchen. Onyi abota inti kavum onhunanyim onhuda ka ofi afa a orishan orba onhu nanso onya abota inti opeda opaka ho impatience kwame said the totonya abota wo ekwado abota besia obi o ha se ko hwema accident na oban so si abota par smell par ebia na ba san nti dominance
no
impatience nti kwame senyin pa de senyin na ote oya ehen nechi se wanhwe da monkwa na mum yamanguti monkwa obi a nitin kan na nkan na no so fie enyim reba road crashes ne kasen nitin kan na nkan no obi wenya botar wensi abotar nti na ordinary stand abeden odabasan na onu na the regulatory regime na kwame akaya bibi he democracy a yedi yedwuma regulatory regime what shall say wo ye no pempen ibohu amanfo drivers na botu woti we gudo democracy so yo
oboga jo de want to more
want to on for more oh massa amanti so de wada
omanti mu lose mu power
yeah kabila hwe amanti na hu ibohu ina wo fa na impa na na lonyi enyodo adehu biara oba be mo mbamba ya hwe ni we gina do na won krofo na wo fom the fra wo floor pressure wo gudo iya dia ewe impa nti ehu baby ma you don't know where to break this vicious cycle. Regulatory regime must be stiff, firm. Osa na agbochi obechi wo say sia Baba, more than you get when I am now, or you father. Yea, or people for. Is it quite me? Oh, yeah. Akwanhyia ɔrekɔdo wɔ akwan ahorow akwan podo ɔyɛ atete there's news peki ɔka peki so some over this weekend also no so accident and so ɛhɔ na anan nso wi nti all around us na abotar driver mim de say siara Peace FM egbe ma ho a wɔwɔ mu wɔrete mesrawa nya abotar na driver yi papa only money ne ahentefo onwe kodu asomdwe mananka saso wa kofe we ko hunu my dear na namba na mane
Kwame enyima mamunga last me jo
me tell
mo go London enwa
Peace
mo Paddington na mo faka from taxi from there to Oxford.
Hey, na the cash one.
Kwame nyabuta mama
Paddington to Oxford
enyima Oji me 65 pounds. Ekwa no do na driver no ye Indian yi papa pe no kumbaja. Ye do hotel one amukology na no what the ticket to measure 65 pounds.
I bet you hear
there. British police for when India no wusu niti my friend help me my friend company car help me
because the laws were cool.
Oh massa.
Oh dear.
I mean, on that note, you see where no law can be better than the people who are called upon to obey
the law.
Kwame Duncan, Bernard Alote Jacobs, James Kwabna Bonfe, A.K. Kabila, and Baha Anope. Let me send a shout out to my guys at Santi K, leather slippers and sandals. Good job you guys are doing at Santi K, leather slippers and sandals. I wish you guys well. You may check them out if you want. They have a website that says santikeonline.com. Santi, me, new and cry. So Santi spelled SANTEKAY, santikeonline.com. Those guys do leather slippers and sandals. So Santi K, wish you well. I wish you all very well. And I hear you're listening to us in the UK. Henrietta Nana Kunedu, I've seen your question, but time has run out. I gotta go, man. Yesterday I promised I'll do Bobo. Here we go. Ever.
Peace FM. Peace FM.
Ever. Mijo. Dum. Yeah, man. Yeah, sending shout outs from Accra to New Jersey. You know yourself. Nana has your tree, here's your bobobo. I made the promise yesterday and I've delivered today. So this is not a campaign promise. This is a proper one. Amo. Mijo. Very good morning to you, Kenal GKT Sam. To you, Colonel Ricky Mensah. To you, Colonel KK Afrifa. To you, Colonel Selam Amengo. Indinami. To you, Colonel Sama Champong. Baby. Nana Wan in Kaswa, thank you, Nana Wan in Kaswa. I call Brian, I see you too. To you, fire. The next news broadcast is at 12. Kofi Kumbilson is next on your radio. Once again, belated birthday wishes to you, Nanaya Japoma Loko, Head of Consumer Marketing at EcoBank. Yeah, shout out to Colonel Afterthought. Nyami Aduma channel Pavesa Benjamin. Thank you for joining us by ear, voice, text, and eyes as always. Wishing you a beautiful day. Reminding you to keep your dreams and hopes alive is all you have.
Peace FM.
May your day be blessed. And when you stop to say a prayer at any point, remember to say one for me too. God bless. Good morning.